Welcome back to Waterdeep, my friends.
Yay.
And Harlow and Donovan, you feel like with your recent acquisition of friends and working together and your professional successes, Donovan, you really feel like you're closing a chapter and moving into another phase of your time and life in Waterdeep. Uh, Apparently, a time of, prosper. Um, the tavern is doing well in its first couple of 10 days of operation, and you are not without leads to follow up on special interests your party has. And one of those leads came through Harlow, and she has advised the party that she knows a particular personality within the city with their ear to the ground, and sometimes has been known to have very valuable information. So she has arranged to have a for 2 seats for the two of you to ride around the city. It seems on this day, Maxine the horse is doing a city tour. So, Harlow, you figure those tours to start around noon, or maybe the second tour of the day starts around noon, and that you can pick up the dray, Maxine's dray. It's actually not Maxine's dray. It's actually known as Morgan's dray, and you will find it circling the market, the Great Market, just prior to a noon departure on a city tour. So you have some time. It's early in the morning. You think the rest of your party members are going to they had planned to take the day and use the bathtub of the house and just do some pampering and puttering around the house. It is a very nice establishment. Donovan spared no cost to renovate it to pristine condition, tip-top shape, and with the help of Broxley Fairkettle, they did just that and made quite a manor out of this facility.
Cool.
So you find yourself in the main tap room on the first floor. Renair Neverember is there. Floon is there. And they're just like making guy jokes, punching each other in the shoulder, doing belly laughs, spilling beer on the table. Floon obviously changes the subject when you guys show up, maybe looking not to offend or something, as he sometimes puts his foot in his mouth. And I imagine you guys pulled up a chair next to them since they're your friends. And you do see Kala behind the bar, and you hear another person back in the kitchen area making noise. And you hear crashing plate hitting the tile floor behind the bar, and you see Kala Hilltopple run out from behind the bar, and she goes, "Gah! That spirit's gonna have me!" And you see, she's gotten the habit now of just hightailing it through this area. Whenever she moves through here, she makes it quick. For some reason, the spirit of the house has taken a disliking to her, and it's become obvious. Anyway, she fades into the background, going to and fro, preparing for the day's patrons, and shouts a couple of things, and enter scene with the two of you opposite the table of Renair and Floon.
What do you two folk have going on this afternoon?
Nothing. We were going to ask you. We actually had this day set aside to poke around the old Troll Skull Manor, lift our spirits, so to speak.
Broxley's idea. Actually, I think it was a good one. Oh, I don't know if Harlow, if you've even seen the new sign outside. Hopefully Aldous will like it. Just trying to come up with a name. Broxley is happy.
It's cool. I think Aldous will like it too.
Well, Floon says, well, yeah, I just saw him putting it up outside. He's out there right now. Good old Broxley. And
Yeah.
they kind of laugh between each other as if they're like poking fun at Broxley for some reason. Hey, you should go check it out. Renair points over at the door.
Yeah, I think we will. Let's go have a look. Come on, Harlow. Yeah, I'll walk out.
You go outside, and the first thing you see, with his back to you, and he turns around quickly, is Broxley Fairkettle.
Awesome. It's a great
Good
picture.
good day, people. Harlow, Mr. Donovan.
Good day,
Do
Broxley.
you like the? And he turns around. He's standing in front of it, and he just got done kind of adjusting one of the chains at the top. And he turns around and points his finger at. Oh, you can see it. That's on the screen, isn't it? And he shows you the new sign. Done just by your instructions, Mr. Donovan. I hope you like it.
Very much. Very much.
You paid a good coin for it, so I hope you like it.
That looks sturdy.
Oh, it is. It is. Anyway, if that'll be all, I've got other business to attend to.
Oh, I just
elsewhere,
I just had one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Broxley, before you leave.
Of course. What is it?
Well, during my recent absence over the past 10 days, when I was off with the rest of Blackwell's Union, I came home to, well, I'm a little bit concerned. There was a bit of a discrepancy in the till.
Oh, what do you mean?
There was
The money's not there?
It was less than should have been based on my calculations.
Oh, that won't do. Well, what's the discrepancy? A gold piece? A couple of silver?
No. Nearly 2/3 of what should have been in that till somehow found its way out of there.
Ah!
Yes. Well,
He gets visibly shaken and upset. Well, sure. Tell me, you must be joking. It's a small fortune you're talking about.
well, it's nonetheless very concerning.
A full 10 days, prosper. Egads. Well, that won't do. You told Calla.
I mentioned it to her. She said all the money should have been there.
Interesting.
Listen, I was wondering, given the fact that I have a suspicion that there's going to be times when I could perhaps be away from the manor for days or possibly weeks. Hopefully not, but it's certainly a possibility. Perhaps you could recommend someone from the guild that could perhaps act as an overseer, a manager of sorts, to maintain business while I'm not around, just to make sure. I don't want to accuse anyone as of now. Calla's been an asset to
perhaps. I mean, Calla has been learning a lot, I would say, if I may. Just a suggestion. I know you have other workers coming up. Perhaps raise her to the level of management. Um, it's just a suggestion, and then let provides incentive. The up and coming folk will see that there's chance for advancement here. I think it'll be good for morale. Anyway, just consider it. I mean, working with what you have, it's the most obvious first thing I would say. Other than that, I'll keep my eye out. There's certainly capable people. It would take some hiring, take some time. You got to find the right people.
Well, we're far from going under at this point, so I'm comfortable with your suggestion. I think is a good one. Knowing nothing about running a business, I'll lean on your wisdom in that fact. And I understand that two of her cousins are going to be coming in today. I plan on giving each of them a starting bonus, and as soon as they arrive, I will promote Kala. Although I also noticed Liff, our permanent guest here, tends to not favor her, but perhaps that's a conversation better had with Aldous. Doesn't seem to like her behind the bar, so perhaps a change to management may save some of our dishware.
Interesting. You say the spirit of the house is exhibiting behaviors that indicate he does not approve of Kala's presence.
At least behind the taps. Anytime she's around the bottles, goblets tend to shatter. Plates tend to fall.
He's been agreeable otherwise?
With the only exception would be one unhappy patron that I understand had a bit too much to drink, and he assisted out the door. But in that case,
I heard about that. That's funny. That's funny stuff.
Well, hopefully he'll like the sign. I'll point back at it. And I was even thinking about setting up a chair just for him, perhaps something with a plaque, roped off along the wall, perhaps over near the tavern, a seat where none may sit but lift. Just a thought. I would like to stay on the good side. I'd hate to have him smashing things every time I walk down the hall. So,
well, from my experience and knowing the history of this spirit that inhabits this facility, Liv agrees with, has been known to agree with things that are good for business and disagree with things that are bad for business. You might want to keep your eye on Kala if he's disagreeing with her and being agreeable with pretty much everything else. It's something to keep an eye on, I would say.
Oh, I plan on it.
I can help. I'll set up a couple of times to stop by and surveil the situation.
Of course, any recuperations that you're able to make in terms of the lost gold percentage, I don't know what's agreeable. Say 30% would be yours.
Excuse me?
30% of what's recovered, should you assist in finding it, or at least finding the reason why it has gone missing.
No. I'm well paid for my position. Your money is your money. I gladly help you find it. What's in the best interest of Blackwell's union is in the best interest of the Fellowship of Innkeepers. And that's where my loyalties lie, with both of you.
Well, your advice is much appreciated, Broxley, and the sign is beautiful. I couldn't be happier with it, to be quite honest. So I hope the rest of my companions like it. I know it's been a bother to try and come up with a name, and
he's like, he starts doing this again like he did 10 minutes ago. He tried to leave. He's like, well, if that about covers business for the day, I will have off.
Yes, you've been very helpful, Broxley. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Thank you so much.
You too, my man. And Broxley Faircuddle takes his leave. And you are left pondering the details of that conversation.
I'll help clean up the mess behind the bar, and then ask Kala as I'm passing, when are your cousins arriving?
They should be here by now, Mr. Donovan.
Well, I had something of a hiring bonus I wanted to give to them, and a bonus to you and Roscoe as well for all the hard work you've been doing.
Did you now? And she puts down the rag, looks behind her for a second as if she's like watching her back, and then comes over and says, "What do you got for me, sir?"
I'd like to give it to all of you. Just have once your cousins arrive, seek us out. We're going to be we'll be leaving here shortly, but I've got a handful of dragons I'd like to disperse to the group of you for all of your hard work. So seek me out when they arrive. We'll be over here finishing our breakfast, and then. But we do have an appointment shortly, so if they don't come,
so you've been seeing we've been doing a good job for you, right?
I have. I mean, short of the 60 dragons that are missing, but I'm hoping that there's a simple explanation for
You're
that.
a wise lord, Mr. Donovan. Thank you very much for noticing. And she, like always, busy. She's like looking at you, still entertaining conversation, but she goes about cleaning up the bar, goes over to the mirror, wipes down the mirror. All right, well, enjoy your day. And she just goes back into the kitchen, keeps cleaning.
Harlow, after I come back to the table, I'll lay down a plate of hopefully somewhat fresh biscuits and place my mug on the table. Maxine, this tour, when is this supposed to start?
From Maxine, she said it starts around noon. I don't know what time it is now.
I was just outside. Was the sun straight overhead, or?
It's approaching noon. You got another hour and a half. You could go early if you wanted. You figure the market should be beautiful. I'm going to roll on the random weather chart because I kind of like it. So let's do that.
Floon, if you and Davil have nothing better to do, I guess you're more than welcome to accompany us. Although I don't know, the horse, is it pull a wagon or a coach, or do we actually going to be riding on the horse?
Maxine pulls a drow.
Oh, okay.
Dray.
A dray. Sorry.
That's like
Right.
The
like
double-decker things.
Oh, sure. You two of you are more than welcome to come along if you would like the tour.
They like look at each other. It's not how Floon says. Not how I pictured spending my day. But you guys go ahead. I was actually helping Floon, helping Renair with a delicate matter he was talking about. So we'll continue our conversation. We'll circle back with you guys maybe later on tonight.
Yeah, after dinner. Drinks. Well, at least we'll start here and perhaps move someplace more exciting later.
Settled. We'll see you tonight. All right, let's see what we rolled here.
So is Maxine going to be picking us up here, Harlow?
I'm not sure. DM, is Maxine picking us up?
Or does she run like a...
No, you know that Harlow, you know to find Morgan's Dray circling the Great Market just prior to noon. So I'm going to pull up that map so you can see the Great Market, and I'll center. Once it pulls up, I'll give it a second, then I'll center the map on the market.
Oh, I see it.
Hopefully that brings it right into... And how are you going to make it? You're just going to hoof it down there on foot?
I'm all right with walking if you think your tiny legs can keep up, Harlow.
Yeah, I can.
What's your route? Might as well tell me. Let's look at our cool map and picture what you guys are walking by here. Through, obviously, starting in the north ward, because as you can tell, you are here.
Let's go head straight for the high road, and then take it straight down to that takes us directly down towards the marketplace, right?
That's right. So if you went straight over to Sour Dune Street, pretty much makes it all the way to the high road, and then you just start heading south, and that takes you right to the edge of the market. Market does touch, or at least the outside, the outskirts of it. The outside of the buildings. Those buildings kind of face in, actually.
Oh, cool.
So you're just on the outside of the market when you reach down there. And you say a lot of people, it's very windy today, but mostly these days have been, the spring is very unpredictable. You could have snow one day and then just heavy fog for weeks. And that's what you were going through for days, is this heavy fog. But today, a heavy wind is blowing. It seems there's a sea gale going on. You think you hear the ocean from here. There must be massive waves crashing out at the sea, and you feel a sea gale style wind flowing over the city.
So as we're walking, Harlow, I know you weren't with us during our visit to the Magist and Protectors Guild, little one, but they had some interesting things to say about you, specifically.
Yeah. So what was it?
Well, apparently when we went in there, and I shudder to think, knowing the many secrets that I carry, that they were, one of the mages was peeking into your mind, and one of the words that came back was, raised a few hairs. Something about Xanathar? Care to explain, little one?
Oh, so,
Just as you're starting to talk, Harlow, you do spot Maxine, the horse.
Oh, what a pretty horse.
Attached to a very large dray. And just to give you the visual completely, it's a towering vehicle of unique design found only in Waterdeep. And this one, they do differ in designs, but this one is a long glassed-in carriage with bench seating on its roof. And you do see a human person sitting on top of the roof. And it's interesting that once fully employed, it looks like the horse will be fully encapsulated by this this immense carriage. A large door compartment will close in around Maxine when they prepare to take off. You can tell by the way that compartment is in a raised position right now. You imagine once they lower it, you will only see the horse's head actually looking out through a windshield when they get this thing going. But it's very impressive. Anyway, you saw that just as you were about to speak to Donovan.
okay.
I'm guessing that's Maxine.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hop on. We can talk while we ride.
Okay.
Is there like a door to get onto this thing? Like steps and a door or something?
There are several steps, and you notice So the first whole 5 feet of this carriage is all operational. Like the horse is in there. You can see it as in between a couple of boards. You see the horse in there. You see like a compartment for luggage, stowing stuff. And then the first seating level is like 5 feet up. And then there's a second seating level. And then there's seating on the roof. The thing is literally towering, and it's got glass all. A lot of it is glass, so you can see this one's specifically made for doing tours, sightseeing tours around the city. And you hear the person at the top saying, last chance to aboard for the city tour.
Old. I'll hop on and offer a hand up to
Does hear you.
offer a hand to Harlow to help her up.
I follow you up there onto the thing.
Where do you want to sit, Harlow?
Kind of like go for somewhere in the middle, so that way I don't have to be like in front, but also being in the back kind of sucks. So somewhere in the middle.
On which level? And you notice there's plenty of room in the operating compartment around the horse, by the way. So, and you see there's a stair to go down into that that level of the dray, and there's stairs to go there, and like almost like a half spiral staircase takes you up to the top level. So tell me exactly where you're sitting.
Like, can I point out the area that you just said with the like where we're by Maxine? Like I can say like, it looks like there's some seats here. We can be near Maxine.
Perfect.
Yep.
Is there a collector? Someone looking to who gets paid for the tour?
And you hear the voice of the man up top. We'll collect upon departure. Everyone board. And you see a large group of children get on, and a couple of fully robed individuals accompanying a large group of children. And they have their cloaks over their heads. They look like priests. What do
the children look like?
Mismatched shoes, scruffy hair, all different shapes and sizes. Roll a investigation check, I guess.
24.
Nice.
Do I recognize the church, perhaps? Maybe the holy symbol that these priests are wearing?
They are from the church of, they are from the, they are of the faith of Tamora. And you see, Harlow, are you going to roll an investigation check? As all these children, it's like a group. They all kind of meld in. Like, you can't really pick out a lot of details. They just look like scruffy kids. But you do see something does catch your eye. Or not necessarily the children themselves, but what they're carrying. Interesting. Oh, there it is. You see these 3 children, and you see the one. The one yells out to the other, "Squidly, over here!" And you see the little girl wave a toy wooden sword in the air. And so that's what catches your eye. This kid's carrying a toy with the sword. The other tiefling-looking child looks like it has a not sure if it's a toy or not, but a bow and an ammo on his back for the bow must be a toy. And then you see the smallest child has this clockwork bird toy that he's like holding up in the air, acting like it's flying and making flying sounds. And whenever he does that, the other kids hoot and holler. But you notice the girl does not hoot and holler. She does open her mouth, but no sound comes forth, as if she might be mute. And that's all you catch, all that kind of action, um, and they make their way to their seats past you because you're in the bottom compartment. You just happen to see this group of individuals go up onto the upper level.
Oh,
Go for it.
Harlow, grab me a seat below. I'm gonna speak with that cleric. I'll be just a minute.
Okay.
All right, so Harlow, we'll start with you. What do you you're sitting next to the horse.
So, like, does Maxine recognize me, or, like, do I have to, like, remind her that we're friends and stuff?
She has not recognized you yet. I think her attention is, she's getting ready to go on this tour, so I think her attention is kind of taken. And maybe she just thinks you're a passenger, like, not sitting in the right place or something.
Okay. So, like, I'll take a second to let her, like, get her bearings together, and then, like, once it seems like she's together, like, I'll be like, "Hi, Maxine, how are you today?" And then remind her that it's me.
So you're imagining a smile come over the face of this massive horse, actually. And she slowly turns her horse head over towards you and says, Harlow, good to see you.
Yay. So, like, we're just having small talk, talking about girl stuff, and then, like,
So you came along for the tour of the city today?
yeah.
So nice.
And, like, I kind of have, like, more small talk until Donovan gets there.
Well, we're going to all sorts of places throughout the city today, and they do take requests. So if you had any suggestions, you might tell the driver. Maxine
Okay.
tells you.
I'll keep that in mind.
So what have you been doing with yourself these days?
Like, I tell her all about, like, Troll Skull Manor and, like, how I hang out with,
Ooh,
like, Donovan and them all day, and
Troll
yeah,
Skull Manor. I heard that place was a dump.
it's revamped now. It's pretty cool.
Oh, wow. I haven't been up in the North Ward much lately. Have not seen it.
Um, like, I'll tell her, like, when Donovan gets around, like, we can see if, like, maybe it can be added to the tour stop thing, as a money venture type deal, but we'll see.
You can certainly ask. Morgan is quite agreeable.
Cool.
Morgan being the obviously
Owner.
the driver anyway.
Cool.
And you see two rains coming up from the side of Maxine. Not that she even needs them. She knows where to go. You can tell by the way the massive dray has started moving now, and you see, but there's nothing taut on the reins, but you do see the reins like move this way just before she moves to the left, but they're not even tight. And then you see the rein move this way, and it's just hanging loosely. It is attached to her, but it's not like pulling her. She just knows where to go. But it does seem like those reins go up 2 stories to the driver up the top, and now that you think about it, you saw him sitting behind a large sphere that he kept his hands on. It must be what he uses to guide the reins. So yes, tell tell Morgan if you want to add any stops.
Okay.
But how else have you been?
Pretty good. And like, even though I didn't bring Chungus, I'll tell her about Chungus.
Ooh, she sounds delightful. And these were your friends at Troll Skull Alley? Is this your new family, you said?
Like I'll pause for a second and be like, yeah, pretty much.
Interesting. Well, I hope they deserve you. You are such a wonderful, wonderful creature, Harlow.
Thank you.
Well, we're on our way, and you guys notice a bunch of noise just entered into the stream. I don't know.
I don't
I
hear
don't know if you
anything.
guys hear that.
I don't hear
All
anything
right.
on my end.
Sounds like
That's
an
fine.
air conditioner.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. My air might be on here.
So you guys move away from the market and back down the high road. And you see, or you kind of hear, because you're down in the bottom, Harlow. So you hear the driver shouting out places, it sounds like to tell the people aboard to keep an eye out for certain buildings and whatnot. And you hear him say, "The Great Drunkard" is the only thing you made out of all the words. And we'll switch the scene to whatever Donovan is doing upstairs.
I just want to reach the first cleric. Cleric! Does he respond when I say that at all?
You see one of the robed heads just sit up straight. It's not facing you, but the person obviously doesn't know you're addressing them, but they know they're a cleric, so it's possible they're the ones being addressed. And there's two of them.
Tamora's cleric. I'll walk up to the closest one. Is it a man or a woman?
The robed figure slowly turns after you mention the name of their goddess. And you knew because of the spherical emblem on their robe. You knew it was the faith of Tamora.
It's the same cleric that cast the curse off. Well, same church, right? I think it was a church of Tamora. Yeah.
The person turns towards you, pulls the hood off their robe down, and nods as if to greet you.
Good day. You are fostering all these children? Orphans, I assume?
They nod.
I'd like to make a donation. I'm a new business owner here in town, and, well, I'll reach into my boot and pull out my purse. I'm going to look around for the three little ones that we saw before.
You look around and they're looking right at you, and they're looking at your hand on your purse, and they're looking at the sister, the holy person, and they're looking at you.
I'll move.
As soon as you look around, you see they're already on top of whatever you're doing.
I'll move my coat enough to let the basket hilt of my rapier kind of stick out, and perhaps the butt of one of my pistols, and smile at the kids. And then I will hand 5 dragons to the priest for the children.
And this child, now wearing a mask, pops up in between you and the holy person and says, "Wow, that's a lot of gold. You must be an adventurer."
I am. One of many in our group, Blackswell's Union. Perhaps we could stop by your orphanage and see you. I have to say, you're the first adventuring party I've seen since we returned from Blue Alley. You're Jenks?
Yeah, these are my friends, Squidly and Nat.
I'll nod at both of them. Hand the 5 dragons to the priest.
They all do. Well, the other two do like action poses with their toy weapons, and you're still not sure if that bow and arrow. It actually looks like it's either a toy or it's like a really finely made tiny bow.
I would love to hear about all of your adventures, Jenks. You, Nat, and Squidly will have to be my guests at Lift Your Spirits at Troll Skull Manor. But that'll be for another time. I'll look at the priest when I drop the gold in. Where is your orphanage located, cleric?
She does not speak again, but one of the children says, "The Tower of Luck."
Was it Jenks that
Yeah.
said that? Well, Jenks, I'll have to visit you there. Hopefully this will get you some shoes that match, and perhaps a new spell book. And perhaps I'll bring the rest of my companions by to pick you up. How many kids are there?
Oh, they start like looking at each other like, "What do you?" And then the whoa turns in, "What do you mean? Pick us up."
We'll come by. It would be a great thing for the 3 of you. Does your company have a name?
You mean like your adventuring party meeting our adventuring party?
Yes, Blackswell's Union.
We could join forces.
That's what I was thinking. So be ready, and perhaps we'll stop by soon to the tower. Until then, I still holding the priest's hand. Like I'll drop the coins and then hold the hand. I can assume that this will keep these children well fed and perhaps some new shoes for several of them.
The holy person just does this.
I'll let go of their hand. Do they keep the gold?
Oh, you gave her? You actually handed her the gold?
I'll like when I drop it in. Is it a him or a her?
It seems to be a her.
When I drop it in her hand, I'll like close my hand around hers. This will get them new shoes.
All right, she takes the offering, hides it under her robe, and then bows towards you.
I'll be back past the tower to visit all of you, especially Jenks. Nat.
How much money was it, though?
5 dragons.
And you hear kids, "Did you see that? He gave a donation to the church."
I'll make sure to flash my pistols to look cool, and then walk away, back down.
Do a sleight of hand check. Are you trying to show someone specifically?
The kids.
Those 3 particular kids?
Yeah. 14.
Yeah, so you just on purpose, you know they're watching every move you make. So on purpose, you just kind of just leave it open at an angle that you know they're going to see it. And you're not even looking their way. And as soon as you move it back just as far as you intended to, you hear 3 gasping little bodies breathe in full lungs of air in amazement.
See you soon. Oh, and come up with a name for your company so that we can write it down when we do the story.
We have one.
What is it?
Can't tell you.
Well, perhaps when I bring Blackwell's Union by, you'll share it then. Oh, if you want to meet another member of our group, she's downstairs. I'll look at the cleric. Perhaps...
You see the other cleric. She had already started ushering those kids, like getting them back in their seats. She's still like pulling on their clothing to get them to sit down and pointing out the window. And you notice neither of these holy people say anything the whole entire time, as it must be like a period of silence for them or something.
Harlow, she's a tiefling, like you, Squidly.
I'm a halfling.
Oh, shit. Yeah, right. you know, halfling. Close.
That's so racist.
Some shit that Donovan would say. Tiefling, halfling.
He's so
dwarves. She's one of the little people. I'll introduce you to Harlow on your way off the dray. Make sure to stop by. We'll be down next to Maxine. I'll nod at the cleric.
She nods at you again, and approvingly. You see a smile. She's trying to just be completely stoic, like that's probably what she's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I figured.
But she did crack a bit of an amused smile, mainly because you've been captivating the children, and maybe they're less of a handful when something's got their full attention. You're not sure. And you hear you haven't been paying attention, but you've been hearing the driver shout out above you. You don't even hear what he's saying, but here and there,
yeah, I'm not really here for the tour, but I could probably give the tour, but at least for parts of the city.
You could definitely give the tour. You'd give a much different tour. This is obviously, based on the things that they're driving by. You know, driving down High Street, you don't really see the city of Waterdeep driving down the main boulevards here.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a prostitute, this is the place.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
All right,
and the two nuns tackle you.
All right, kids, when the time is right. Yeah, I'll head back down to Harlow.
All right, cool.
So Harlow, as soon as there's those three kids that we saw getting on, the tiefling, the warrior, and the mage, Jenks, we're gonna have to disguise you as a tiefling because I told him you were a tiefling.
That was Jenks. Did we define
that? Yeah,
that?
that was Jenks. Yeah,
okay.
I'm assuming he's the wizard of the group.
He is a portly 9-year-old. You would know this. He's a Tarami from that ancestry boy with a cloak, a toy wand, and a stuffed owlbear. Familiar, he referred to it as. Here's my familiar.
Anyway, we're going to bring them over. I think it's the least I can do is take some of these kids out for a good meal. Most of them look they'd probably be eating porridge for the better part of the past 5 years. So we may need you to bring out the big guns and bring out your little pig to entertain them at some point.
He pointed at the girl, Jenks did, and indicated that was Nat, what looks like a lanky 10-year-old deaf Aluskan girl with a wooden toy sword.
She's going to love Joanna.
She seems to be the leader of the group and communicates using sign language, it looks like. But nothing like not the thieves can't stuff that you know, and it doesn't look like the few not letters and numbers. Looks like it might be something of her own devising, but she seems to be communicating effectively with her companions using her hands and body language. And then he had indicated the third child that these three were sticking together.
Squidly, right? The tiefling with the bow.
Yes, a slim 9-year-old tiefling boy with an eye patch, a small bow, and a quiver of toy arrows. Doesn't seem like he does a lot of thinking before he talks or acts. And he didn't say anything of import, but he did have just seemingly meaningless things to blurt out.
Great. I can't wait to hopefully make these kids' day.
So they fall back in line because now those holy people are really trying to get them to pay attention, and they're pulling on their ear now here and there to get them to turn their head that way. And but they don't disapprove of you interacting with them or anything. They got a actually roll a charisma check. Let's just lock that down.
They got paid. Well, apparently I didn't do so good with the priests, but
Well, you get a you definitely get inspiration re-roll for that. So re-roll it. Let's see what the second one
let me
is.
see. Should I roll? Should I roll as? Yeah, just roll straight charisma.
Because your role playing really
There
took
you
care of it. Cool. Now the
Thank you.
rules all work. Now the rules all follow the role playing. The way I
Awesome.
like.
Yay.
So you guys are, you're well past into the trades ward now. Still on the outside of it because you're on the high street, but you're headed towards the dock wards. You think you're almost in the dock ward now.
So, Harlow, you want to introduce me to your friend?
Sure. So Maxie, do you remember my family I was telling you about? This is Donovan. He's like the big brother and kind of dad of the group.
Says
Um,
the 19-year-old kid.
Donovan, you take your seat on a bench that's right along, as if this platform was here to tend the horse and keep everything running down here. You could actually do mechanical adjustments to things on the fly if you needed to while this thing was running, it looks like, because everything's accessible, all the mechanical functioning down here. You can tend to the horse. She starts introducing you as you sit down next to the horse, and the horse says, "Oh, nice to see one of your new friends, Harlow." And she speaks very slowly. Without taking up too much time, I was trying to do her being very slow on her delivery.
That's
Thoughtful.
amazing and disconcerting. How is it that you can speak, Maxine?
I'm just as the gods made me, Sir Donovan.
That's amazing. So I imagine you've seen a lot.
I do.
You've probably seen more of the city than I have in my 19 summers.
Oh, maybe a bit more, yes.
And you know
So-
Harlow.
Yes, a wonderful, wonderful person Harlow is.
Yeah, she's proven herself.
How did you come to meet again?
She saved us. Me and the others in our group.
Oh, that's right. She was saying found you in a cellar or something.
In a bad way. One of us mortally wounded. Survived, but just barely, and only thanks to Harlow.
Oh, you left that part out.
I'm sure
You-
she's been modest about many of her accomplishments.
Harlow, you don't give yourself enough credit. Sounds very heroic.
I'm kind of just like, doing the oh shucks.
Awesome.
Don't be so modest, Harlow. And since then, she's proven herself to be a valuable part. As a matter of fact, we just recently were lucky enough to escape from Blue Alley. I'm sure that's someplace you've heard of, Maxine.
Blue Alley. It's just a fable, I heard.
There's some
It's
truth.
real.
There's some truth to that fable, Maxine, as Harlow can attest.
Oh, I want to hear all about it.
Can I suggest like we'll do a trade of secrets, like me and Donovan will tell her about the Blue Alley, and then like she tells us about the tea that she has.
I have no secrets from you, Harlow.
Yay! Like should we like rock paper scissors and who gets to go first on telling stuff or?
She's gonna do rock. Or is that rock or is it paper? You can't tell.
You're right. It's rock every time. You're gonna... paper. All right. And you guys, the dray actually comes to a halt, and just from your peripheral vision, you are in, and it's light out though. It's not like dark and dingy, but the buildings are tall and tight. In fact, you heard the dray scrape along one of the buildings at one point in time. It gets really narrow in the dark ward in some spots, and the dray comes to a stop. as you are conversing. And she says, "Well, we have a break." And you hear 2 stories up the driver telling, historical information about the buildings and how old the dock were, about the commerce. You can only imagine all the things he could possibly tell, a tour group. And you hear that in the background, and Maxine is just looking out this windshield, essentially, and you're looking at. You don't know where from, Donovan, but you've seen that building before. And Maxine's just sitting there looking straight out the window. "So, what secrets do you have for me? You mentioned secrets."
Um,
Only she says that really slowly and thoughtfully.
like we'll just tell her about like what happened at Blue Alley and like how Elfgeist and Roland kind of
Ooh.
got yeeted on us.
She does a lot of oohing and awing,
Oh,
trying
but
to trying to encourage you on to the next part of your story.
we should save the most important secret for last. Perhaps it's the how to escape from Blue Alley.
Yeah.
Well, fables have it that many die in the attempt. I'm a little upset to hear that you endeavored in such a thing. Isn't that what adventuring groups do when they're trying to gain fame?
Well, we are an adventuring group.
Oh. Oh, you didn't mention that.
And we are trying to gain fame. Fame brings fortune. Fortune brings favor.
Oh, you'll have to come back and tell me your stories.
Hey, does the driver charge for the orphan's passage on the dray? I'll ask Maxine.
Yes, they came. The driver actually came down just before they left, and if he didn't, you either instinctually gave him a couple of silver coins, or he missed you. Maybe you were walking downstairs when he did it, but you remember them saying that they would collect money right before departure. And Maxine tells you all that to that effect. He probably came around as you were climbing down here.
You tell the driver. What's his name?
Morgan.
You tell
Morgan Wolfwood drives the vehicle. Do me a favor. Morgan is unaware of my ability to speak, or my intelligence for that matter. I'd like to keep it that way.
How is that possible? I'll look at Harlow. How did you know and he doesn't?
Like I'll kind of just like shrug my shoulders and then like be like, well, I can turn into a horse, so maybe it was that.
All right, that would make sense. You do have an affinity with all things with 4 legs.
Oh, you do hear another voice taking. It's not the driver taking fare, actually. Oh, there he is now. As Maxine says, Marcus collects the fare. Marcus is Morgan's older brother.
I'm assuming he doesn't know your secret either.
No.
Your secret's safe with us. I'm sure Harlow's already shared that.
Yep.
Secrets are important. I'll look towards Marcus. Excuse me. I'll wave at him. I know. How many shards do I owe you for myself and my halfling friend?
4 copper pieces apiece. In a soft-spoken manner, he says.
4 nibs. What do you charge the orphans above?
Oh, they get a special rate,
How's...
doing for the holy people.
Well, let's consider it. Perhaps, if you'll tell me what their cost is, I wish to pick up the fee for them as well.
We just charge for the 2 adults, so 8 copper pieces.
So myself, Harlow and the 2 adults. Why don't we just make that? We'll just make it an even 2 silver. No change.
Well, thank you very much. And it
Thank-
looks like he was about to ask you to leave this area, but after you gave him the tip, it looks like he's second thoughted and just bows his head and kind of backs away out of this kind of cramped space. It's like it's pretty big. You can almost stand up, but it's only like 5 feet tall down here. But the platform's above the ground. Like you see Maxine's feet go to the ground, then there's a platform above it, so you're standing up a little over the horse, and you just have to duck down. Harlow has no problem at all. She walks freely on this level.
Advantages of being a halfling. Well,
So, thank you for telling me all your stories, Harlow. I can tell you a few things of what I've picked up. First of all, do you see this building straight out outside of our windshield here?
Yeah.
Something interesting about that building is 5 people in the time that we've been sitting here, 5 people have entered it. None have come out, but it appears to be empty in there.
Strange.
I'll lean towards the window and like take a better look at the building. Can I use an investigation check to see if I recognize what intersection we're at? Or
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, that is. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here.
Are we in the dock ward now? We're all the way down, right?
Yeah.
Dock ward. I know we've got a few been mugged in this neighborhood before.
So you see this. You remember seeing that. Who were you with? It was very early on. No, even last season.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It does ring
You
a
don't.
bell.
You don't remember who you were with. You think you were with Roland in the dock ward, and you visited this place, and it had a small purple gnome.
I do remember. I can't remember why.
Well, Maxine says it's the old Zablob shop. There's something very curious about that place. And then she goes on to tell you some more things about gossip she's picked up in the city. She kind of like backs into this story about a half elf and a half orc, and how ultimately you put together. She's actually talking about Dable Starsong and Yagra Stonefist. You know, you don't really know Yagra Stonefist, but you've seen her. It's a half orc, and she hangs out at the Yawning Portal.
Yeah, I remember seeing her.
So Maxine tells a story of an experience of people talking about these individuals, and then ending up giving these individuals a ride and putting a face to the names of these people. And she begins to describe places like Schema, Weird Bottles Concoctions. She talks about a warehouse that you recognize in the dock ward. She also talks about how they would meet at the Yawning Portal. And she doesn't speak directly their names, but you put it together by the time she's talking about them before she even mentions their names. And she does eventually mention the names, confirming what you're piecing together. And what she's telling you is that word on the street is Davel's been related to some of this gang activity that's been going on in the dock ward. She's not sure how, and from some of the people that talked about these individuals in her presence, she pieced together that they weren't big fans of theirs. So it must have been enemies of theirs. And those people were Xanathar thugs, she says, talking about these individuals. So
Yeah, that's
Xanathar gang members talking about Zentarum gang members, and she's saying it like it's all news to her. She didn't know who these people are. But perhaps that's helpful information to you. She says, I don't know. She also suspects there is a grand game afoot where many factions and entities of the city are. It's no. It's no stretch to think that the forces in the city would start coming together to combat some of this unrest, this gang activity happening in the city. But she does sense, and she tells you, I sense there is a concerted effort to combat these things. We know they always go on, but we'd rather the violence not spill over into the streets of our fine city. I think you would agree.
I think we would agree with you, Maxine. It's a horrible thing that has come to light, and some of the things you say aren't entirely unfamiliar to me. But confirmation of these things is welcome. Perhaps I can share a secret with you then, for what you've given to us.
Oh, do tell.
The secret to escaping from the Blue Alley.
Oh, that would be a nice thing to know. Not that I would ever be going there, but
Yep.
someone may ask me someday.
Harlow, you wish to share?
You have to fight a Minotaur, and you have to, like, once you get the key from the Minotaur, you have to unlock the chest, and I thought it was a room for a tooth fairy, but it's not.
I got it. A minotaur. Did you fight a minotaur, Harlow?
No, but my friends did. I helped. You have to hold the doors open. So
Oh, well,
I hold a door open.
Don't be
sounds
modest. No, she did much more than that.
sounds like you were responsible for allowing it to happen at all by holding those horns as you described.
Without her assistance in subduing the Minotaur, collecting the key, I'm not sure that we would have ever encountered the sword. A jeweled hilt on the sword. The jewel is the key. Once one has the jewel, they can seek out the exit, the gates of paradise. As long as you hold the jewel in your hand and open the gates, or touch the gates, you'll be released from the magic prison that is Blue Alley.
She is wildly impressed with your amazing story.
I'll smile at Harlow. So, Schemo, could you tell me of that small folk that runs the potion shop? Anything other than what you've already said?
Oh, yes. He uses the drays to travel throughout the city quite frequently.
Where does he go?
I could show you.
Please, that would be more of a reward than I would ask for.
So, well, just a few more minutes and we'll make our way there. And you see her with her mouth tug on a yellow ribbon that's looks like it's going up, just like those reins are going up through this roof here and up to the next level. You see several different color ribbons, and she takes her mouth and yanks on one of them. And then a moment later, the dray starts moving again. Always to a slow start. You know, she doesn't do any jerky moves. Surprisingly, this thing moves along really nicely, other than when it's squeaking by buildings and scraping the trim molding off of the odd tight fit here and there.
So she's like a workhorse, right? Like a draft horse, a Clydesdale almost.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great picture, by the way.
She's so pretty.
So you make your way out. The dray makes its way out to High Street and starts traveling north. It's not far, actually. And
High Street. Wait, are we? Where are we on the map? Can you show us?
we are here.
We still in the dock ward?
Yes.
Oh, I don't
Well,
see.
in between them. Hold on. I'll put.
Oh, wait, it almost popped up. I moved past it. There it is. Okay, I see where we're at. Okay,
So
right on the edge.
We are. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect.
And she says, sometimes Schemo goes into this neighborhood in the southern ward off to our right. You're pointing north. You're pointing north now.
Mm-hmm.
And as she does that, and you look out the window, you see a familiar person moving across the road in front of the dray.
Oh,
Someone
shit.
you recognize.
I'll duck down.
The person never looks at you and puts a hood over his head, makes his way across the street.
Oh, Harlow. What a wonderful idea this was.
And you see he hold on.
Schemo.
He goes into a series of buildings right over here. And that neighborhood looks like
it didn't blink. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
that neighborhood looks like that. But you only see obviously the western edge of all those buildings. But you see some of the higher, you see kind of like a tower, because you don't see the bottom of the tower, but sticking out from all these buildings on the west side here, you see walls and a tower, and some of the buildings are, a lot of the buildings are like 5-6 stories tall, but you see a tower even above that. And the dray keeps moving, and you see Schemo Weird Bottle, coincidentally enough, run right in front of your dray and into that neighborhood.
Say the demon's name.
And Maxine recognizes and says, "That's the person we were talking about, isn't it?"
Yes, it is.
Never forget that face.
Do you know what the building with the tower? I'll lean in close to the horse. Like, what? The building with the tower there. What is that?
I believe it's an old abandoned wizard's tower. That's how the story, the myth goes.
I'll smile, ear to ear grin.
Kolat Towers. That's what it's called. Kolat Towers. And now I'm remembering.
Oh, I had no idea this day was going to be so wonderful. Oh, Harlow, my dear, this was a wonderful excursion. I'll try and get comfortable.
And Maxine says, if you really want to get street level word on the, now be very careful if you do approach, but Amrani's Laundry is at least people that are in the know you can get anyone's dirty laundry at Amrani's. And that's not foreign information to you either, Donovan. You have heard that in the past.
Everybody probably goes there to get their laundry taken care of.
Yes, and you even know that it's actually a woman named Amrani that runs that place.
Is it tied to either of the guilds that I know of?
Tied insofar as they pay various guilds and their well-established business. You know, they do all sorts of laundry for nobility, um, important people, let's say, but not exclusively. Anyone can do business there, but it's mainly a laundry facility, is what it is officially. And Maxine keeps going. You guys have been out for about an hour and a half, maybe, unless I'm calculating that wrong. Let me think. Down, maybe 2 hours. Let's say 2 hours.
Are we going to pass by the temple, the Tower of Tamora? I'm not really familiar with that area.
We do intend to end our tour at the tower. Certainly, the children will not be excited about that part, being at the end of the tour. Um, and thinking about it, you can see the children are actually very much enjoying themselves on the bus. But the people that are not familiar on this tour, people that are not familiar with the Towers of Luck, will be very delighted to see that beautiful place. Yeah, we'll be there soon.
Harlow, do we have any other questions that you can think of?
Um, can I ask her if Schemo said anything about like getting things for people, especially because since he tried poisoning us, and he tried poisoning the nice lady that I saved from the other place.
I'm so sorry to hear you had to deal with that, Harlow. You should really stay away from such things. But no, like I said, most of this information, I distill it. I'm pretty intelligent and I do distill it down. I'm confident the things I have told you are all very true. There's a lot of things I didn't tell you because I'm not sure they're true. But I never spoke to this individual personally, but I have seen him before, and uh, most of that information is secondhand, I must say. So no, I don't know about his specifically his business dealings, um, other, really just his relationships to others.
Gossip is fine. I enjoy it, actually. I'm a little bit of a gossip hound myself.
As do I. Feel free to join me anytime. Donovan and Harlow, your company is delightful.
Yay.
Yo, I'm gonna go grab a beverage. Do you want to pause it or just give me 2 minutes?
I'll pause it. I'm gonna hit. Yep, I'll pause it. Here we go. 3, 2.
Wait to hear more. Please do come back in a 10-day at the most and tell me about the escapades going on at Troll Skull Manor.
Okay, I'll pass the message to Donovan.
Excellent, excellent. Great to see you and nice to meet you, Donovan.
I'll wave.
You can actually see her now. The compartment that encloses her is open. The drivers come down to help people and hold their hand as they get off the last stop. The other helper, his older brother, is now feeding Maxine with some hay. And it looks like it's just taking some time for them to. Almost everyone is off this thing. You and some other people in different looking garb, possibly visitors to Waterdeep, maybe for the first time, along with you on this ride. But pretty much everyone. Hold on a second. So, yeah, in a matter of a half an hour, you'll be back at the. Maxine says, in a half an hour, we'll be back at the market. And they start packing up to make their way there. And if nothing else is said or suggested, that is exactly what happens.
Yay.
You end up back at the market on that easternmost corner.
I'll start to walk back with Harlow.
I'll move the map back to there. And you make your way back to the market. There you are. And Maxine just profusely says how much fun it was to have you guys along. I feel such a connection to you, Harlow. Thank you for visiting me with your stories. And anytime I can be of assistance, I'll certainly, if there's anything specifically. Oh, one other thing I wanted to tell you. There's a very helpful gentleman on the right on the block you live. And for a fee, he's a investigator of sorts. I've heard for a modest fee could get you a single answer you're looking for, perhaps unravel a mystery. What is the name? What is the name? Trying to come up with it. Surely you must know the place. It's right on your block.
Can Donovan hear this conversation also, or is it just
Donovan hears it. You guys are right there. You guys are approaching parting time. It is.
May roll a investigation check.
Yeah, roll an investigation check.
10.
Yes. The facility is called the Tiger's Eye. It is run by a gentleman named Vincent Trench. It is his establishment. And like I said, for a fee. I understand he could unravel a single mystery. Anyway, of what use that might be, I'm not sure. But it sounds like your party has many questions to be answered. Perhaps Vincent Trench can be of assistance.
We'll definitely keep that in mind.
You seem to remember, Donovan, in those piles of invitations and letters that you received upon delving into the guilds, you received lots of correspondence, and you do believe you received a calling card from Vincent Trench, an invitation to visit the shop, kind of like you did probably for all the shops. Everyone left a calling card. You know, if you needed carpentry, there's the bent nail. If you needed metal objects or weapons, there's steam and steel. You know, Bookworm's Treasure is right on your block. There's a lot of things, and another one of those businesses is the Tiger's Eye. And she leaves you that piece of information and says, again, my friends, thank you so much. It was a pleasurable ride, and good luck with the next chapter of your story. And you can end the recording there, I guess.
Oh wait, I got more to talk to Harlow about.
Oh, go! That looks cool. All right, so you depart the dray, right? And you make your way away from the dray, and then you guys are on your own.
Yeah, we're just walking back to.
Let me know what the route you take is, just generally.
We'll just go right up High Street for now.
Okay.
Stay
You're kind
to
of
the right
you're kind of
side.
parallel. You know what I mean? You're in the C ward, which is parallel with the North ward.
Yeah, the high road's probably the most direct route
all
up
right.
to Sarundun Street, where we
Yep.
can cut across. So,
Perfect.
um,
All right, have your conversation.
all right, Harlow. All cards on the table.
Cool.
I know.
So basically, the story with the whole Xanathar Guild thing is that I actually did not know they were the Xanathar Guild, but I did deliveries for them just because they promised me food and a place for me and Chungus to stay. But then when I started hearing rumors about things that happened, how they actually like to eat halflings like myself, I left and kind of just left.
Is that how you came to meet us when we exited the Xanathar Guild? What were you doing there?
I was hiding. I couldn't figure out where to go because I knew if I went upstairs to the house, maybe they would send me back down to be eaten, and I couldn't figure out a way out. So I kind of just stayed there and found you guys.
We have a lot in common, little one. I've been apprenticed into the Zentarim for some time. Really thought that that was the path that I would want to take, but now that I've found a new family, I think that there's eventually I may seek to cut ties with them. You're not currently enrolled or involved with Xanathar?
No, I actually don't even think they noticed that I left.
So if something involving Xanathar's guild, actually, in all truth, and I feel comfortable in sharing this with you, I wouldn't have come into possession of Trollskull Manor without the assistance of the Zenarim. I had been friendly with several members of that guild for some time, and for whatever reason I fell into their good graces and they chose to gift me with Trollskull. But it wasn't without a cost, and the cost is Schemo. The treacherous alchemist that we met before. That's the price that I have to pay. Although I will say that price is much easier paid now that he's tried to not only poison us, but the Black Viper, who is someone that I also know. A female friend of mine from some time ago. We're no longer involved. She broke it off. Yes, I'm not too proud to say that. I hope he'll keep that between the two of us. But I've found a new family. I was paying attention when you mentioned that. The new family. Aldous, Joanna, Rhea, and you. I have never felt... I feel like there's a beginning here with this. And it's much more of a family than I've ever felt anywhere else. As much as I appreciate Davil and Floon and well, the others that have come along with our adventures, it's not a mistake that I've chosen the group of you to live at Trollskull. I really feel like we've become a family, a union of sorts.
Aww.
And like Harlow has like a picture that she drew of like basically all of us, and like Floon, the ghost, and Renera like in the corner of the picture, but it's like
Wait, do you have artistic skills or are these like stick figures?
They're stick figures.
Okay.
Carlos basic.
She's like, look at my picture.
I mean, it has their names on top.
Oh, I appreciate it.
That's how you know who it is.
Yeah.
That said,
Wait, whose pictures do you draw?
So it's Harlow, Donovan, Aldous, Ray and Joanna, Chungus, and then I have like Rhaenyra and Falloon in the corner because they seem to always be around. So I feel like they're part of our family, but they're kind of weird.
No Gillester Silvermane?
You know, we'll add them to the picture later. And then the ghost is in the picture just because the ghost seems to be our friend.
What do you pick? Oh, is he just another stick figure? Are there any details on the ghost?
No, it just says ghost.
Perfect.
Liff is hopefully going to be the one that watches over the place when we're not around. But I really want to have a new beginning here, a family I've never had, and a little sister and brother, and an older sister, and an even older sister is something that I've looked for.
And a sister that can kick my ass. Something
Yeah.
I always wanted.
3 sisters that can pretty much kick my ass.
Give me the ass kicking I need. Sorry, I didn't mean to put word. It's your conscience.
I plan on sharing this with the rest. You're the first one I've been honest with in regards to the Zenarim. But I want you to know that my first allegiance lies with you and the rest of our companions, not with the Zenarim.
Like, I kind of just nod at you and like offer to help with anything I can help with, especially since I kind of don't really have ties with anyone because I'm just there. I mean, I have ties with like our group, but I mean, like, other than that, I'm kind of just there.
Well, the beginning to finding our way out from underneath the Zentarim, at least eventually, is to pay off Troll Skull Alley, and sadly, that is going to involve Schemo, which is why I was so interested about his comings and goings earlier with Maxine, and fortuitously seeing him near the street. Capturing capturing if possible has been something I've been tasked with. I'm going to try and convince the rest of the group to assist us in that. If it's not possible to capture him, then eliminating him for his past crimes is what I plan on doing. If this is done according to the contract that I've read, the manor is ours, our permanent home. But until then, I am indebted to the Zentarim. You're the only member of the party I've shared this with, Harlow. The others have no idea. Troll Skull's technically not mine, and should payments not be met, I will die, and likely the group of you will be exiled or at least evicted from the keep, which I don't want to see happen. Most of all, I don't want to see myself die, but I also don't want to see anyone without a place to live. I'm going to do my best to convince the rest of the group, and that taking Schemo is our option. Sadly, I think eliminating Schemo may be our only option, as he is more dangerous than his tiny... Much like you, he is more dangerous than his tiny stature would indicate. So, but I've been as honest as I can about everything with this, and I trust that you'll keep your lips tight until I choose to share this with the others. I think maybe Aldous first, and then Joanna and Rhea.
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest, like, I feel like Aldous would definitely be down to get revenge with Schemo, just because he did try poisoning the 3 of us several times, it sounds like. And
I'll smile. I'll drop down to one knee and give her a big hug.
Yay, hugs.
All right, little sister. Then we'll head back to Troll Skull. What the fuck is that behind the bar?
What's behind the bar? Oh,
Ah!
that's
Ah!
it's lit. It's fucking lit.
Holy shit!
I know.
God, he's horrified. Thank you.
Anyway, we'll end the scene and the evening with you seeing Balloon War Dragon sitting on the front deck here.
Uh-oh. Know that guy.
And you look to your right and you see your new sign, Lift Your Spirit at Troll Skull Manor, home of Blackwell's Union, referring to the adventuring party that you have so dubbed it. And
Cool.
thank you very much for being awesome D&D players.
Awesome.
Yay.
Lots of fun tonight. Thanks for the mini adventure. Thank you, Harlow.
Yay, we got to see a pretty pony.
It was great. Great. All right. Good night, kids.
Good night.
Night.
Not only did they leave, but they let us on for a bit. That sucked. It made it difficult, dude. We definitely had fucking obstacles. What else do we have? Time for Betty. Betty. Aldous is up at his books. Joanna's